Hello students, in this lecture we are study the next ecological group, halophytes. Firstly, definition of halophytes. The halophytes means some plants grow and complete their life cycle in the habitats which with high salt contents, and they are called as the salt plants or halophytes. The halophytes are a special type of xerophilous plants which grow on saline soils with high concentrations of salt, like sodium chloride, magnesium dichloride, and magnesium sulfate. Some of the halophytes shows in vivipary. The definition of vivipary means is in plants the vivipary occurs when seeds or embryos begins to develop before they detach from the plants. That is the germinations of seed before they are shed from parents plants. Then halophytic plants are divided into following groups, like lithophilous means they are these grow on the rocks and stones. Then samophilous, these are the grow on sand. Then pelophilous, these are grow on a mud. Then halophilous, these are grow on swamps. And these halophilous are again subdivided into salt swamp and salt deserts. Then the there are the in India, mangrove are prevalent on shores of Mumbai and Kerala. They grow on waterlogged soils. Then, in the external ecological features of halophytes, most of these plants have succulent leaves and stems. Succulent leaves and stem means in plants with thick, fleshy tissues adapted to water storage. Then the stem is the green and carries out for the function of photosynthesis. And this plant shows in the presence of salt glands, and these are the excrete the salt. And the storage of large volume of water and the active concentration of salt in the vacuoles helps to keep the salt concentrations of plasma. Then these plants show the presence of salt glands that excrete the salt, and the salt contents of tissue thus become a low. Then the uptake of sodium depends on the membranes and the efficiency of its ion pumps, and the salt tolerant species are characterized by high percent of phosphodichlorines in the membranes. And the vivipary germination is the unique characters of these plants, and in these plants the seeds begins to germinate while the fruit is still attached to the parents. Then internal features of roots. There are made up of, or the roots are two types, aerial and the subterranean type of roots. And the subterranean roots is there are contains the several layer of cork, and the cortex is made up of star shaped or stellate cells. These are the star shaped or the stellate cells, and they are the connected with each other by lateral arms. And the function of cortex is it is responsible for transportations of material as well as the food storage. Then cortical cells have peculiar thick wall, and which are the lignified. And some cells of cortex are filled with the oil as well as the tannin. The function of tannin is to protect the plants. Then pith cells are thick. The pith cells, the pith is the composed of soft spongy parenchymatous cells, and which is the stored and transport the nutrients throughout the plants. And these pith cells are the thick walled, which is the thickening of lignin and contains the oil as well as the tannin. Then internal structures of stems. The internal structures of stem, there are the young the stems, or there are the very thick cuticle presents in a young stage. The epidermal cells are the thick walled, and they are the multi layers, and below the epidermis there are the multi layers of hypodermal cells are present, and these hypodermis are many layers and they are also thick walled. Then in outer cortex as well as the inner cortex are present, and the outer cortex are contains lacuna, oil cells as well as the tannin cells, and while the inner cortex are contains the sclerites, and the functions of scleride is the these are the protects or supports to support to plants, and the pith are contains the tannins. Then in endodermis, below the inner cortex there are present in the endodermis. Then in a pericycles, it is the in pericycle sclerenchymatous cells are present, and then the vascular bundles are very well developed. The means the vascular bundles which are exist in two forms, xylem as well as the phloems, and these vascular bundles or these tissues are present in the vascular bundles, and the xylems are contains in the or consist of metaxylems and protoxylems. Means the vascular bundles are very well developed, means xylem and phloems are not scattered, they are present in a proper arrangement. Their arrangement is the proper. Then the the pericycles is also multi layers, and sclerenchymatous cells are present, and the pith are also S-shaped spicules are present, and they are the contents in the pith. Then these are the example of the Rhizophora mucarenta. Then internal features of leaves. The cuticle is the very well developed. The epidermals, then the epidermis there are consist of the consist of upper epidermis and the lower epidermis. The upper epidermis cells are the thick walls, and they are contains the calcium oxalate crystals, and in the stomata are present in only lower epidermis. Then below the upper epidermis are present in several layers of thin walled cells, and that remain filled with the water, and the outer layers are filled with oil and tannin. Then the cells of lowermost layers are mucilaginous and remains embedded into palaceid tissue, and the mesophiles is the well differentiated. The mesophile cells are type of ground tissue found in plant leaves, and they are the two types, palaceid cells and the spongy cells, and the most important role of mesophile cells is in the photosynthesis process. Then the cork areas are present in the present in the ventral surface. So these are the transverse section or internal ecological features of leaves, stem as well as the roots, and and also the types of the halophytes. Okay. uh, so students, these are the last ecological ecological group of in this chapter. Okay, thank you.